period that culminates with Easter.
Here to tell us more are Mark Dupont and Sister Paula Robillard from the Diocese of Springfield. So nice to have you here this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Lent. Everyone, we know that Lent begins today. It's Ash Wednesday. What is Lent?
Well, Lent is really a 40-day period where Catholics spend time preparing for the Paschal mystery, for the passion, death, and resurrection of Jesus, which happens at the Easter season.
So it's a time of observance, reflection, and people often talk about they give something up for Lent, right?
They do. That's
now,
right.
People might give something up like chocolate because they want it to be part of their diet or whatever it may be. What does it really mean to give something up?
Well, I think giving something up for because it's healthy is a great idea, but I like to think more that we give something up so that we can do something else. Lent is really a time when we prepare to be more like Jesus, and so if we give up so that we have more time to do something else. I would say, like, give up your favorite TV show so you can spend more time with your children.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about sacrificing something in your life, and I think it goes more to show that you can also do it. It's something that you can do to be proud of also.
Right, right. And we often talk about prayer, sacrifice, and almsgiving. Well, you pray, not because God needs you to pray, but you pray so that you can understand and be more aware of God active in your life. When we look at almsgiving, you can give money or you can give part of yourself.
And I think all too often people forget that the gift of time is so important.
Absolutely.
And if you can give back, it's that sacrifice, it's the ultimate sacrifice that you can make.
Exactly, and that's ultimately what Jesus did and what we're called as people of God to do.
Now, another thing that people do, of course, is they don't eat meat on Fridays. Why is this?
Well, I think historically we didn't eat meat on Friday to remind ourselves that Friday is in fact the day that Jesus died. So it's simply an exercise in fasting, an exercise in remembering that it was on Friday that Jesus died for us.
So when we do give something up for Lent this year, make it something that you're really sacrificing so that you're making more time in your life to do those things that
exactly.
you don't always have time to do.
So that you can make more time to make the world a better place.
That's right, absolutely.
And what are some of the things maybe that most people give up? What kind of trends do you see? If people out there, maybe they're looking, they don't know what they want to give up for Lent, what do you say sometimes, what do you recommend to people maybe?
Well, again, I go back to recommending the television, but again, so that you can have more time with your family. That it's always, if you want to give up smoking, it'll be good for you, won't it?
Exactly, yeah.
And it will make the world a better place.
And you can take those little breaks and then put them into something good.
That's right.
Now, Mark, let's talk a little bit about the papacy. In the last week, there have been some big changes, and if people out there don't know, if you don't mind enlightening them.
Yeah, well, of course, we were all surprised Monday morning, myself, the bishops and everyone, to learn that Pope Benedict had decided he was going to step down on the 28th of February. Not an enormous surprise in that he had indicated that for a number of years, but there's a vast difference between writing about it and theorizing about resigning and actually taking the action, which is quite historic. It's been over 600 years since we've had a pope actually step down in office.
Now, historically, it is very important. What does it mean to us on a day-to-day basis?
Well, we're a universal church, and we fit into this larger church. Sometimes we forget that as Americans. We only think of our local parish, our local diocese, but we are part of a larger entity, a faith community that stretches around the globe to far reaches and corners, and the new pope will set the tone in which we will all live out our faith. And so it is very important. It has a very practical reason that exists within the parish communities.
And now this is something, too, a lot of people are saying they understand, being that he is 85 years old, and it is time for him to do that. They of course, they are somber about it, but they do understand why. Yeah,
interestingly enough, we tend to think Catholics don't like to change a break in traditions, but I think the response we've heard has been that Catholics, by and large, think this is a good decision, a very humble decision for Benedict. He's going to return to a very quiet lifestyle. I've read today he'll even give up public writing, which is something, as a scholar, he loved to do, but he understands that he's now entering into a later stage in his life, and he wants to make room for the new pope, not overshadow whoever is selected, and so it's a good thing. I think it sets good precedents for the church, and I think we're all hopeful of how this will come out. By Easter, we're told, hopefully we'll have a new pope elected. They can't convene until mid-March. Based on the rules of the church. They can only take 4 votes a day. They have breaks in between. So it's going to be close. I think there's a lot at stake with this election for a new pope. And I would think the cardinals who are called for this, including Cardinal O'Malley from Boston, will very, very carefully contemplate the person who is called to this role.
Well, thank you very much for being here to share your perspective and, of course, tell us more about Lent and our viewers as well. It's great to have you here.
Yeah. Thank you
so much. And once